Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing this evening? Kyle, how are we feeling?
I think we're feeling great. We're feeling very excited to offer you this third and final grand finale to our free Blueprint seminar series. We are going to give you more golden nuggets today and show you, as promised, the very first steps on how to get started as a Canadian or a foreign national investing in US real estate. So that's all happening in the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Excellent, excellent. So we'll say hi to everyone who's on the call today. So hi, everyone. Hope you are doing fantastic. We got some very interesting news today. Very happy. Kyle, we're celebrating the sale. We don't sell very often, but we are celebrating the sale of one of our apartment complexes for a nice little profit. So cheers to that. Now you guys are going to think I'm drinking all the time, but even yesterday it was ginger ale and some grenadine. This is water. So cheers to that. And real estate in all its glory. There's a lot of ups, a lot of downs with that purchase, but when you buy right, guys, you make your money when you buy, not when you sell. Had we not bought this right, we would probably have not made money today. So, because there were things that happened, that went sideways and sideways and underways and say that.
Upside down ways.
And what?
Upside down ways.
Upside down ways, yeah, absolutely. So we're very excited. We got a big fact check today, just like 10 minutes before the end, just before the call, actually. We just noticed that it came into the account. So we're very excited about that. It's a very nice win where we can move forward and purchase something else and do something else that's exciting for us. That apartment complex was no longer in alignment with our goals. So voila, we're celebrating that super big win today. Yes. So for today's session, so day one of the seminar, we went into, remind me, Kyle, day one was a myth. I had a blank there for a minute. So we busted myths on US real estate investing. Yesterday, we talked about some opportunities in the market. And today we're going to talk about golden nuggets and pitfalls to avoid starting in US real estate. So super important to stay tuned. And tomorrow is the Q&A. So let's get started, Kyle.
Let's get started. Hold on to your hats because here we go. So as we begin today, I'd like to ask a very, very important question. Why now? We talked about these opportunities. Well, what's so special about now, right now, this year, 2022, moving into 2023? What's so special happening in the market right now? So there's a couple of dates here on the screen, and you might recognize a few of them, but I'd like you to, for a minute, take a moment and ask yourself, what do those dates have in common? Right. Look on the screen here. What do those dates have in common? You might recognize some. So reminder that we're trying to make this as interactive as possible. So if that chat has been enabled, this is the time to write in there. What do they have in common? You might have realized that these were very important dates, years in real estate. And listen up. Don't believe a word they say when they say the market is bad, because you might be looking at these dates and said, these were the bad years to invest in real estate. These were the worst years, right? In fact, they were both the best and the worst years to invest in real estate because we have to know how to navigate those types of markets. We need to navigate this type of market we're in right now, a changing market. Because when markets shift from buyer to seller, seller to buyer, that's when really interesting opportunities come up. When markets shift, people start losing their minds out of fear, out of need, out of certainty, out of all these things. And that creates a lot of inventory for savvy investors, investors who are looking for opportunity and who are looking to do good in the process. And this is especially true if you're the buy and hold investor. You want to buy properties, not necessarily to flip or to sell, but you want to buy and hold it long term for cash flow and long term appreciation, capital gain. So if that's what you are looking for, right, we're predicting that you're going to be laughing all the way to the bank in the next couple of years, because there are actually, I should say, so many indicators, and we're seeing the effects already hit the market. Prices have begun to drop. People, the real effects of COVID are hitting, right? The people who are owning property right now, who overpaid over the last couple of years, or the last decade, actually. So mark my words, people, there are a ton of them in the US, right? 10 times more than Canada. There's a lot of people in there who did not buy right. And they will not be able, life is going to happen to them. The real effects of COVID are going to happen, and they're not going to be able to keep up with their obligations and their mortgages. And so that's going to create a huge opportunity for us to go in, do good, and make bank at the same time. So are we entering into a recession, into a depression? Honestly, I don't know. But what we do know is the rates have been increasing. Inventory has been finally increasing. The market is cooling down. And I've seen more opportunities in the last 2 months than the last couple of years from an investor point of view. So this is super, super exciting as we get started. We're going to be seeing more inventory, more bank-owned real estate, right? So foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, that particular niche, we hadn't seen all that much in the last couple of years. And, you know, we may be entering into a 2008, 2009, and so on opportunity window like we saw. So that's super, super exciting. Prices will go down. They've already started to go down. And when prices go down, opportunity skyrockets. Okay. So we believe that what those years had in common is that they were in fact the best years to invest, or at the very least the best years to get started, to learn, set up the foundation so that when the full window of opportunity is open, we can absolutely with full confidence pounce and build up that portfolio in a crazy accelerated timeline compared to if you were always investing in a bull market, for example. Warren Buffett has a saying: be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when people are fearful. And that's what's really interesting with changing markets. When markets change, people tend to be fearful. And so that's the time to be a little bit greedy, but obviously we are always taking care of everybody involved in the transaction because we want to do good and make good at the same time. So if you buy right, that's the point here. Like Jenny mentioned on this apartment building that we just sold, man, we can write a book on this one again, but so many things went wrong, right? And even though so many things went wrong, like we had to pivot almost half a dozen times on this thing, but we still made a profit. And you know, you make your money when you buy. That's when you set your buffers in place. That's when you buy the equity. It's when you buy. So if you buy right, it doesn't matter what the market is doing. So the question is, are you prepared to learn what you need to learn and take the steps now so that you get ready for the next market shift, which we're in basically, right? Because if you're not ready to learn, if you're not ready to take action, well, the opportunity is going to fly on by, or you're going to jump into something, overpay, get kicked in the teeth, and that's not what we want for you. We want you to be flexible, to be adaptive to the market, sensitive to the market changes, and be very firm on your investment criteria. So let's get you trained up, because the market is turning right now. And with this particular turn from bull to bear, we're going to see more motivated sellers, because they're the ones who we can help the most, and the people you help more, you have more value in the marketplace, and thus better deals will arise from helping the more motivated people. Okay, There are so many reasons why someone sells an asset or in real estate. Here are some, right? Some people, just in the natural course of life and business, may inherit a property that they don't want, or they think that they can't afford, and they just want to liquidate, put a few dollars in the bank and be done with it. That's an opportunity. People, right, get sued all the time in the US, and the biggest lawsuit is divorce. And when people get divorced, well, sometimes they want to screw over their partner in the process, and we've got a solution for that, right? We can come in and help them out of that very nasty situation. Yes, we'll profit, and we're solving their solution, their problem at the same time. People move, and you might have heard of the U.S. Army, kind of a big institution, right? It's a big organization in the States. There's a lot of military personnel that simply moves around the country, and as they move, not everyone has the thought of keeping the property they already own and renting it out and making cash flow. Some people, it's just the way they think, and so many people think that way. You have one house, you move, you sell the house, you buy a new one, and that just creates more and more inventory. And then from the investor side, you got the people who want to retire. It's time for them to liquidate. Maybe their kids don't want the portfolio, they don't know how to manage it, they're not interested in whatever it might be. They're burnt out, or they're tired, or they're retiring, and then boom, there goes a portfolio up for sale. And because the market is shifting, right, they are starting to see the prices go down, stagnate, and started to go down already. So now they want to put it up there, because who knows, it might go down for the next 2 years, and then it might take another 8 to climb back up. Maybe that's what they're running through their minds right now. And so right now, selling at a discount now, getting the cash now, and going on with their life and their retirement is the best plan for them. And so that's where we can get a discount today, and it's based out of the fear, or basically the now value of their money that they want to capitalize on, and that's perfectly valid. And then, of course, as I mentioned, there's going to be a huge new category of motivated sellers, and these are the people who with difficulty making their payments as well, because COVID is not over, certainly not from an economic standpoint, and those are going to keep on going. The debt, the medical bills, the loss of income, and those mortgage payments that just don't go away is creating, and is going to continue to create, a huge pool of motivated sellers, and more bank-owned real estate foreclosures as well. I'll remind you, they're estimated 40 million Americans to default on their mortgages, and they're having the same fears as everybody else. Can I make the payment? Can I put food on the table? And then all of a sudden, there might be an opportunity for you to, yes, get a discounted price on their property, but they are going to be able to put a couple tens of thousands in the bank and move on to something else with less stress and more happiness in their life. And that's what we want to bring. So motivated sellers, there are always motivated sellers, but in this particular market, it's going to be a lot easier, and there's going to be a lot more. So that's why this is the time to get in there and leverage the Gatekeeper marketing system. Okay, leverage OPM, and OPM. So let me explain what I'm meaning here. We talked in our first part about OPM, right? Using other people's mistakes, right, to accelerate the process of building our portfolio. Well, OPM could also stand for other people's money and other people's marketing, right? OPM is a leveraging mindset to get there faster. And the Gatekeeper marketing system, this is something I want to teach you right now. It is by far and large one of the biggest reasons we were able to build our portfolio in the US, because we don't do it like everybody else. What we do is we use gatekeepers to find our motivated sellers. What do I mean by that? We are not looking, write this down, we are not looking for deals. We are not looking for properties. So how do we find them? Because we are looking for the people who are finding the deals. Our focus is not on finding the property, it's finding the people whose job and whose expertise is to find properties and deals. And that's why we call it the Gatekeeper marketing system. We want to find the gatekeepers. so that when we foster a relationship with that person, it's not just going to count for a potential one deal. That same person might be a wholesaler, might be a realtor or a broker that also handles some off-market real estate, has direct connection with programs that have motivated sellers naturally through it. And so we are building relationships with key people who might unlock 5, 10, 100 deals over the course of our investing career. And what does this do? First of all, it creates repeat business and just it makes it easier to build rapport and long-term relationships. Great. But what it also does is it lets you leverage other people's best skills and assets. Maybe they're excellent at negotiating, at marketing, at finding deals, at extracting the important numbers out of a seller or potential seller. And through all that, how much money in marketing have you spent to find your deals? How many flyers did you have to print and mail or post? And how many helpers did you have to do to actually put the flyers on the billboards or on the posts or make bandit signs, print them out, install them? How many people did you have to put behind a phone to get those incoming calls and to filter out the potentials from just the tire kickers? How many door hangers and newspaper ads and Facebook ads and Google SEO optimization? How much did you have to do for all that, right? Zero, if you want, right? And up to this point, we've spent under $100 in marketing to source our own deals throughout the last almost 10 years of US real estate investing, because we find the people who find the deals and then reward them generously for finding deals that meet our investing criteria. And so that's a big switch. That's a huge golden nugget when it comes to sourcing your deals as an out-of-state or out-of-country investor by using the Gatekeeper marketing system. There we go. And then another beautiful nugget, another beautiful reason to invest in the US is that we want to get into deals with as little or ideally no money down of our own, right? And that's not by just going on the MLS, talking with your vanilla realtor and putting in a regular offer, right? There is a way to posture and position yourself and your offer, speak to the problem and put yourself in the position of the solution so that it just naturally comes out that you are there to help. And one of the best ways that we can help is to maybe do it this way or that way, to go in with little or none of our own money in the deal. Because Jenny mentioned it, I'm going to repeat it, so important. The one golden rule in real estate is that you make your money when you buy, all right? Cash is king, sure. If you can throw around cash to get a better deal, you're fantastic. But never forget that cash flow, she's your queen, okay? So buy low as much as possible, invest for cash flow, right? Putting the king and the queen together and then building your empire from there. So what's the secret? What is the secret? Well, we've been saying it all along. You make your money when you buy, and buy right, regardless of what the cycle is. Those gatekeepers are there for you to make and bridge the connection and the distance between you and that motivated seller with off-market deals, okay? We are creating solutions for them, the sellers, by creating simple pathways for the solution to their problem, whatever their problem might be. And that's an important thing for us to get in the conversation. What is the problem that we should solve for them? And in that solving of problems process, we are going to position ourselves to create our diamond deals. And so that is what we do and what we want to show you how to do as well. If we boil down all of this, right, the last two modules and today, there are really three types of deals according to JK right now, okay? One, you buy and hold a property that doesn't need any work, right? You find a deal that there's no renovation required. You just buy it because the numbers work, and voila, you move on to the next one. You ideally, hopefully you can optimize a little bit and do whatever, but you buy something that's ready, ideally tenanted, and off you go. Or You can buy something like we talked about yesterday that we can do a burr on, right? Where we can force the value up rapidly through a renovation or a remodel or an optimization. And then, so we buy it, we fix it up, and we hold it, but we have a process by which to recuperate our capital very quickly. And now the third type of deal, and the one I love the most, right, is to buy and hold. So hopefully you're getting the theme here. You can buy and hold using creative terms, right? And that's where the beauty of US real estate and all of its flexibility and its cowboyness, it's so much more versatile than Canadian real estate in our experience. And so by using the Gatekeeper marketing system, by going in for off-market deals, motivated sellers, having more deals come in than you can handle, all these things compound together and better your odds, your chances of getting that no or low money down deal. That's what we're talking about. And Janie and I, very rarely do we sell. We sold under 5 properties in our entire investing career in the US. Just so happens that today was one of them. But bottom line, I don't think that I'm surprising anyone here today when I say that in Canada, real estate in general, buying investment properties is expensive. And building that cash flow through the buy and hold model of investing, it's tough. It's a really long breath strategy, and it's tough. It takes a lot of determination, patience, luck, and so forth to make it happen. But just imagine how many properties you could buy in, say, the next 3 years if you bought everything at half the price and doubled the return compared to your current real estate market in Canada or in your state, wherever you're logging in from today. And what if you had ways to use little or none of your own liquidity to do it, just like we do, just like we did? So we're talking about here regular and steady cash flow and equity gains every time you buy a piece of US real estate. So let's talk a little bit about some guidelines of cash flow. When we say cash flow on every deal you buy, if you're buying a long-term rental, meaning you want a yearly lease, long-term tenant, off you go. We say here at JK that you want to earn $100 to $500 of cash flow per month on every deal, on every long-term rental you buy. If it's under that $100 threshold after you pay for all your expenses, including that mortgage and debt service, maybe it's not the best deal. Maybe you can find something with higher cash flow, which is basically forcing you to buy a little bit more right. You buy right, you make your money when you buy. So that's a minimum threshold. Often in Canada, we get into deals that are negative cash flow just because it's the best deal that you have access to. So we can do that. We can buy cash flow. And isn't it a little bit interesting how you never even have to set foot in the property because you're plugging into this system, the Gatekeeper marketing system being one of them, and earning a cash flow that you can't even touch in your own country, right? And so now the question is, would an extra $100 or $500 of cash flow per deal change anything to your investing patterns, to your investing habits? And that's a real question that you should ask yourself, right? Would $500 per deal change anything in your life? For some of you, the answer is yes, I'm sure. And for some of you, the answer is, well, no, not really, right? But then we've discovered in the last couple of years, how many years now? About 3.5 years, Janie and I have been also investing in short-term rentals in the US. And in short-term rentals, we do consider it's a little bit higher risk, but we have an asymmetric risk reward here. Because on our short-term rentals, our guideline is to earn $1,000 to $5,000 of cash flow per short-term rental deal we invest in. Now, granted, the prices are going to be different than the long-term rentals. There's better renovations, better finishing touches, better themes, all that fun stuff. So yes, there are some short-term rentals that we purchased that are right around $1 million in Florida, say near Disney. But there are short-term rentals, even in Cleveland, that are nowhere near that amount that can create your $1,000, $2,000 a month of cash flow. So there are opportunities across the US for long-term, but also for short-term rentals. And so that is maybe tweaking the question for you. Would an extra $1,000 or $5,000 a month of cash flow per deal change anything in your life, right? And so I'd love to see the chat blow up on that one. Because ultimately here, the best deals, you don't find them. You don't walk down the street and, oh, look, someone dropped a diamond, right? You might see $1 or $5 bill of 20 when you're lucky, but you don't just find a diamond. Diamonds are purchased or created, right? And how do you create a diamond? Time, energy, and pressure. Time, energy, and pressure. And what I like in that equation and that recipe for creating diamonds is that I love putting in the time when strike while the iron's hot, right? I love putting the time when the deal is hot. I love putting in the energy when the deal is hot. The pressure, I'm not too fond of putting pressure on sellers or partners and so forth. But what another amazing side benefit of the Gatekeeper marketing system is that they're in direct contact with the seller, and they may be very comfortable putting on the pressures in just the right places so that you both together make those diamonds happen. So we have given you all the ingredients now, all the core ingredients to creating diamonds and creating win-win solutions for everyone involved. So I want you to forget golden nuggets, all right? Here's the diamond when it comes to asset protection and taxation, okay? If you're going to be investing in the US as a Canadian, especially, this is particularly important for Canadians, but anybody listening in, this concept has to apply because you may have joined other trainings that discuss US real estate. And what they often say when it comes to how to buy these properties, oh, just set up an LLC, go to rocketlawyer.com, set up an LLC, it's a couple $100 and you're good to go. So taking that type of advice, right, would do an okay job for asset protection, depending on the state you're in. Meaning if you got sued, at least you're not owning that property personally, so you don't get personally sued. You have the barrier of a corporation, an LLC, blocking you, okay? But do obviously consult your legal and tax professionals for everything here based on your specific situation. But the point is here, LLCs may do a good job to protect you from lawsuits, but if you're a Canadian and you just bought rental properties in the US inside just a flat old LLC, you would completely vaporize your profits due to a double taxation issue. In Canada, we don't have LLCs. And although Canada and the US have a tax treaty, meaning you normally should, if you paid the taxes in the US, not pay them again in Canada, because the LLC doesn't exist in Canada, that tax credit, that tax treaty's principle doesn't apply. And so this is what we were talking about, the LLC trap. Be very, very careful if you are using LLCs as a Canadian to own rental real estate in the States. What's the solution for this? You will want to have conversations with your legal professionals about an entity or a structure that involves a LP, a limited partnership. And what that does, it allows you to take advantage of the tax treaty between Canada and the US and protects you at the same time from lawsuits or external threats in the course of your investing business. So LLCs, be very, very careful. And as you're having conversations, bring into the conversation the LP, the limited partnership, if they didn't already propose it to you. And if your counsel is suggesting an LLC to you, that might be just a flag that that's not the person who specializes in cross-border accounting and legal preparation. Jane.
I'd like to add to that,
Yes.
because talking to any professional out there will not necessarily mean that they know exactly what you need. So especially if you look at US attorneys, most attorneys don't know anything about Canadian law. So I would say the best place to find out how that is structured is the blueprint. And Kyle will talk about that a little later. But in the blueprint, we bring on our attorney who's done this for many, many years, for over 30 years. And he spends 90 minutes to speak about taxation, liability, about how to protect your assets, the why of all of this, how it works, how the US works, the difference between US and Canada, and why you don't want to own any assets in either an LLC, especially under your personal name, so personal name, LLC, and why, and he goes into all those details. So in the blueprint, just that alone, guys, in the blueprint is worth more than the price of the blueprint alone. Spending 90 minutes with our attorney is more expensive usually than just the whole blueprint itself. So if you don't know where to start, the blueprint is the best place, and just that alone can save you so many headaches, so many obstacles. And anyways, Kyle will talk about it a little bit more later. But when we're saying, we created the blueprint, or what the US real estate investing blueprint, investing from a solid foundation, we mean it. If you invest in real estate in the US and you do it under your personal name, under the wrong structure, you are essentially creating an empire, or a portfolio on very shaky grounds. And don't do that. Start well, start the right way. That's why we keep saying there's a good way and there's a bad way of investing in the US. Start the right way. And the blueprint really has those step-by-step process, and we put the right people in those places for you, so you don't have to go looking for those people. So I'll let Kyle continue, and he'll talk a little bit more about the blueprint, but those people are hard to find. And even through the years, we've bought mobile home parks in Michigan and different parts of the US, and some attorneys were like, no, you're going to have an LLC. We're like, no, we're not going to have an LLC. I'm like, yeah, you will. I'm like, no, we're not going to have an LLC. He's like, well, I'm going to do my own research. Well, you do your own research, and I'll put my attorney in contact with you. And he was an attorney. He had no idea about the LP. It's been around for many, many years. It's one of the oldest entities there is, but it's the best one for Canadians. It's a very protective entity, and our attorney will talk about that at length in the blueprint. So even with us telling attorneys, no, we're not going to be using an LLC because we're Canadians and we don't want to be double taxed, they still tried to get us to use an LLC. And when you don't know any different, and when you don't know any different, when companies come into Canada to teach Canadians how to invest in the US and they don't do it right, it's very difficult. You don't know. So you trust whomever comes to teach you. And unfortunately, the very foundation is wrong. So yeah, so be wary of that. And our attorney will go in length into that. So Kyle, back up to you.
Back up to me. All right. And so you don't just have to take it from myself or Janie. Gennady, who did attend the blueprint a couple of years ago now, he said, complemented my existing knowledge with golden nuggets of information that would definitely save me a lot of time and headache in the future. That's exactly what Janie's talking about right now. And Gennady, he absolutely did it. He went in and in under 3 months acquired 5 units of rental real estate cash flowing to his portfolio. So I know it's a lot. It's a lot of information, and we were able to break it in, at least into 3 pieces here. But up to this point, what did we see? We saw that there can be a huge difference between US and Canadian real estate, that prices can range completely across the spectrum, depending on what side of the border you're on. And obviously the cash flow potential will change because of that discrepancy in price. We also talked about all the excuses that you may have had, or the preconceived myths, such as not needing to be an American, that you don't need to have tons of experience before jumping in. There is financing for Canadians, even if you don't have good or any US credit. You don't even need to touch your own liquidity if you don't want to. There are strategies where you can buy with little or none of your own money. And that is all compounded and accelerated with the Gatekeeper marketing system and this window of opportunity that has just begun to open in the last 2 months, and is probably going to be with us over the next year, most likely, is the time frame. And we are dealing with off-market deals here, so that there are more deals than anyone can possibly handle all by themselves. And that's why we have no problem coming here and telling you about it, because we're not afraid that you're going to scoop out all the deals and there won't be any left for us. There is way too much opportunity out there for any one or even any one community to handle all by themselves. Your first years of US real estate investing, if done right, can set you free like it did for us, because cash flow is not an option, it's a must. And so now we have a choice, right? You've heard what you've heard. The Blueprint free seminar series is now complete. So if you feel at this point that you are complete, that you got what you came here for, that is wonderful. And we thank you for taking the time to be with us. And hopefully you learned a couple of diamonds, you added a couple diamonds to your tool belt. And we wish you all the best in the continuation of your US real estate journey. Now, we're going to go into details now for those who stay about the Blueprint. And we're also going to share with you the goodies that we've prepared for you in this upcoming Blueprint Masterclass, because there's clearly a lot to this, right? And, you know, we did spend the time here, about 45 minutes times 3, but there's only so much we can do in just a few sit downs like that. There's obviously a lot more in depth we can go. For example, how do you analyze the deals and analyze them really quick so you're not wasting your time in analysis paralysis? How do you negotiate? How do you posture yourself? How do you communicate with the sellers and with these gatekeepers to create the best and long-lasting relationships that we want to build? How do we implement the systems of this business? Because I'm not looking at this like a hobby. We're looking at this like a business, because we want consistent and predictable results as we move forward. Same thing goes with how do you meet and interview the people you need along the way to add to your power team, right? All these things are crucial that we need to obviously have a good handle on as we get started. So we've given you the golden nuggets, those diamonds, like avoid the LLC trap, avoid double taxation, have your assets protected, so don't buy in your personal name, be very careful with the LLC. We talked about guaranteed rental programs like Section 8 and Eden and so forth. We even showed you that there's opportunity for cash flow in high-end properties in the vacation rental space in Florida and other hot markets in the US, and how you can even use your RRSPs to not touch any of your liquidity and repurpose those RRSPs to acquire more real estate, more properties to your portfolio. So if you're still on at this point, right, you're clearly interested in learning more. So I want you to take out a pen and write down the dates for our upcoming Blueprint. We put together this masterclass and we've made it as convenient as possible for you. It is our 3-day real estate investing Blueprint, and we are very, very excited to bring this to you. Janie, why don't you come up here and share a couple of words on this Blueprint that's going to happen August 26th to 28th. So not this weekend, next weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Absolutely. So this Blueprint used to be 2 days. It's now 3 days, because there's just so much information we want to give you. And it's pretty simple. So we retired, okay, in 3 years. It took us 3 years to go from 0 doors to 42 doors in the US, 3 years. And I am the strongest believer that if we had this Blueprint when we first got started, it would be even faster than that. Like 3 years is not very long, but had we had a Blueprint like that, we would have skyrocketed our acquisitions. Just when we were looking for lenders in our first year, we must have taken, was it 3 or 4 months of looking almost full time, because we had 3 properties, 2 triplexes and 1 duplex under contract, and we were trying so hard to find lenders to lend us money. You know, we had the money cash-ish, but we wanted to recycle our capital. And we didn't know any lenders that would do that for Canadians. So 3 or 4 months full time trying to find a lender while these properties were being renovated. And we kept hitting wall after wall after wall after wall. And so we're bringing you the people that you need. We're showing you the step-by-step, all the strategies. We're even going to short-term rentals. We're going to talk about the Florida market, the Midwest market. We're going to bring you one of our brokers that does foreign national lending. We're bringing our attorney, of course. And we are also bringing our RRSP specialist that allows us to invest with our Canadian RSPs into the US, which is brand new. We've done it. A couple of people have done it now that have done it after us successfully. Very exciting. This has never been done before. So we're bringing all those people to you, plus all the training. So it's 3 full days of a lot of content. And with that alone, you can go and get started in the US the right way. So that's our hope for you, is get started with solid foundation, know where you're going, know where to get the information, and skyrocket your success.
Beautiful.
There you go.
And this is a live training. It is
Yeah.
online, but it is live. Janie, myself, all our guest speakers, there's members of our community who are going to come in and tell you, share with you their experiences that they're doing it. So no planes, no hotels, no restaurants. Is as convenient as it'll ever be. We're used to the COVID environment now, but it is live. So people.
And I will add to that, Kyle, it's 3 days virtual live. But if you can't make it, or if you can make only a portion of it, then no problem. It's all recorded and you'll have access to it for 1 year. So no problems. You can come in whenever you can. And when you can't, then you can watch the recording. Everything will be edited, uploaded in your JK portal, and you'll have access to it for a full year. So voila.
Beautiful. And so for the very first time, we're going to share with you the schedule up front. So we've been doing this blueprint for many years, but it's the first time that we're going to give you the sneak peek in advance to show you what you will learn during this blueprint. So we obviously start off with our courageous leader, Janie, who's going to give us a keynote address to start off this epic weekend. And then we're going to get to know each other a little bit, because don't forget the power. Your net worth is highly determined by your network. And so we don't want to lose that, even though it is a virtual environment. So we're going to get to know who's in the room. And then we're jumping right in and we're going to show you how to find those deals, how to find those gatekeepers, so that you can initiate conversation and create incredible deal flow very quickly. Then we go into how to evaluate those deals, and then how to communicate. Right? What is the right tone? What is the right words? What are some impactful, powerful words that you can use to create the best first impression? We got a bonus lunch with some strategists. And after lunch, we bring you the money. We bring you the loan broker, one of our top loan brokers, and he's going to show you how you get financing on these amazing cash flowing deals. After that, we go in and we find you money that you didn't know you had, all right? And usually, on average, we find people about $100,000 that they didn't know they had just in this 45-minute segment here. After that, how do we go into due diligence, making sure that you're not buying a lemon in the process, getting checklists. We are going to cover all the bases, and then we're going to talk about the Florida market. We give a little bit of homework, and that's just day one. Day two, we talk a lot about the Midwest, how to use that BRRRR strategy specifically in the Midwest, like Ohio or Michigan and that sort. We bring on some guest speakers, people just like you who might be 3 months, 6 months, or a year ahead of you, who have taken advantage of US real estate and who are doing it. And they're going to come in to share their experiences with you. Day two afternoon, you certainly won't want to miss this, because we bring in our celebrity asset protection attorney. That's what Janie was mentioning. He's going to show you for 90 minutes, explain to you why it's so important to not fall in the LLC trap or to buy in your personal name in the US. So important. After that, contracts and agreements. There's incredible creativity that you can do in the US if you just use the right contracts or the right agreements along the way. We explain a little homework for the evening, and then Janie gives an incredible closing presentation on creating miracles, basically making lemonade out of lemons. Day three is the cherry on top of it all. This is what really blows people away. This is where we bring in our RSP specialist. Day three is mostly about doing this creatively, not using any or as little of your own liquidity as possible. And then I just go into it. I rattle this off. We have 3 segments of creative real estate, 101, 102, 103. This is where we go through the 19 ways that we've collected to buying and acquiring and profiting from US real estate using none of your liquidity. We finish off with property management, project management, There's a final Q&A if there's any lingering questions that the team wasn't able to answer or I wasn't able to answer along the way. We give a wrap up, make sure that we put all that knowledge into practice, and off we go, a very short closing presentation, and then we go and get the deals that we so desire. So that is basically the schedule for our 3-day blueprint. I hope you see all the love and attention and the sequencing that we put into this weekend. It is almost 10 years and over $100,000 of personal training and mentorship that JD and I have received that we've condensed in here. But then after that, it's years and years of tweaking. Like Jamie said, it used to be 2 days. Now it's 3 days because we're always adapting, making it more and more digestible and valuable to the people who are coming in. So even the people who were with us on the blueprint last year, it's not the same one this year. Just like Mark, right? Mark says acceleration and massive growth with Janie and Kyle by doing with them in their amazing circle of genius. Now, we're trying to get Mark, he hasn't yet confirmed to be part of the panelists for the weekend, because Mark's first deal in the US was 25 properties, all right? 25 properties that he bought creatively with a portion of it interest-free, carried by the seller, and he just sold that portfolio a couple of years later for a good profit. I don't want to say too much because it's not my deal, but let's just say nice 6 figures happening in that deal just because he bought right and he bought with very creative terms. So that was Mark. Wendy and Jan, who says more value and content in this one event than several other events all rolled together. Thank you so much, Wendy. Carl, very helpful to know where to start investing in the US, 100% worth it. Those are real people. We're real people, right? We're just doing what we're passionate about. We're having fun and we're making memories together, just like this picture. This is one of our epic bus tours, right? This is the most recent one we did in Florida. We had our pirates involved in the pirate house. This is still real people's real deals, real results, and real fun. Right? You might join us on our upcoming Cleveland bus tour as well, because every time we do an event, we want to make it better and better. So by joining this next blueprint, you're going to get that full 3-day training, but we just don't want to leave you after that, right? We want to create a lifelong relationship. And so we've prepared some bonuses for you so that we don't just let you go after the weekend. You can continue your education and the support can continue after the fact. So as soon as you sign up, you get the first bonus, which is a training on financial freedom and real estate. How are those two connected? You get that immediately. And after the training, after the weekend, we throw another very valuable training at you regarding negotiations. So how to have sellers beg you to put low offers on their properties. There's a way to do this. There are strategies, there's posture, there's tone, there's all these beautiful things. And that after the training, once you've got all those foundations, we're going to advance you. We're going to get you to that next level, hold you every step of the way. So how do you get started? You need to register to the US Investing Blueprint. So at this point, in the chat or in the comments section or reaching out to Trina or Janie or myself or someone on the team, just say, hey, I'm really interested. Send me that link if it's not already in the chat posted for you. So that's step number 1. You gotta get on board. You gotta register. And second, after you've registered, the next step is to get in control of US real estate. You want to drive that bus. All right. You want to pass go and collect $200. And you always want to do it at half the price for double the return. Because either way, right, whether you decide to take this blueprint or not, either way, in the next 60 to 90 days, you will be getting your first check. It is either going to be that first cash flow check of $100 to $5,000 on your first deal and be one step closer to your financial freedom, or it's going to be an entirely different type of check. It's going to be a reality check that the window of opportunity is starting to shut down again, and you are no closer to reaching your goals 60 to 90 days later. So you get to decide what type of check you write for yourself right now. Benjamin Franklin says it so well. Tell me and I'll forget. Teach me and I'll remember. Involve me and I'll learn. This is how we begin to get you involved in the Now for Tomorrow community. Because just imagine what you could accomplish with this type of knowledge, this type of support, this type of commitment, right? And to show you, to really show you that we're not just going to leave you hanging after the blueprint, we want to throw in JK's Quick Start Bootcamp, Blood, Sweat, and Deals. So by signing up to the blueprint, you also get a 5-week boot camp, right? 5-module boot camp that's spaced weekly so that you know exactly what to do. The first step right after the blueprint, this is where your effort should go for the highest results, the highest yield, the highest return. 1 week later, what's the next highest important step, right? Simply put, this Quick Start Bootcamp opens the 2 main valves of a real estate business. What are those 2 valves? You have the deal valve. The deals have to start coming in. They have to start flowing in through those gatekeepers. And the second valve that we need to turn on is the money valve. How does the money start coming in? And once those 2 valves are open, the deal and the deal flow and the cash flow can truly begin, right? Probably more deals and more money than you ever thought possible is literally 1 blueprint and 5 weeks away, all right? So basically, you want to close those deals faster for more profit in less time every single time you buy an investment property in the US. But then we thought, can we make this even better, right? What if we threw in a guarantee just to sweeten the pot, right? But not just any type of guarantee, JK's 100% satisfaction stamp of approval guarantee, which states that if by the end of the first day of this 3-day training, if you just feel that JK's US real estate investing blueprint is not a right fit for you, right? No problem. You keep the ebook, you keep the pre-training materials, no questions asked, you keep everything that related to day 1, right? And you get a full refund, no questions asked. Just like how we show you how to buy real estate with as little risk as possible, doesn't it make sense that we teach you how to buy US real estate with as little risk as possible? We think so. So in reality, the biggest risk here for you is not doing anything. It's the risk of missing the opportunity altogether. So tell me, what is it worth to have such a foolproof, bulletproof guarantee working for you? So one last time, because we just added a few things in here. This is everything you're going to get by signing up to our upcoming blueprint. You get the full 3 days, which is valued over $2,000 right out the gate for sure. We have the 5-week boot camp to show you those first action, most 80-20 rule, best actions to take right out the gate. You have that money back guarantee. You have the pre-training bonus, the post-training bonus on advanced negotiations, and why not? We're going to throw in the same property analysis software, the number cruncher that we use to evaluate our deals. That's all part of it at the same time for you, all included. And do we like our Timmy's double? Rather than trying to monitor and police, because this is an online event, right? So it can get it can be a pain administratively to just manage this thing. And we don't like that. We want to keep things simple. So rather than monitor and police who's using what, whatever, let's keep things simple. If you want to bring your spouse, if you want to bring your partner on the journey, bring your dog or your cat, no problem. Come on down. Enjoy the JK experience. There is, so basically it's a 2-for-1, if you didn't catch that. So I have a lot of words, 2-for-1, okay? Bring your partner. There's no question here that we are bringing over $5,000 of value through everything that you see on the screen here right now. And this is all thanks to us being Canadian and wanting to share this opportunity that has just started to flourish for us. So what if I told you, what if we gave you all of this for 70 cents on the dollar or at a 50% discount? Would that accelerate your investing career and your profit-making opportunities in US real estate investing? Well, this is your chance because the opportunity is now. For under 10 cents on the dollar, it is a steal. This is as close as we could get to having confetti shoot out of your computer and hit you in the face. Hello, the cash flow alone will cover this multiple times over on your first deal. And if you're at all interested in the Florida vacation rental property, maybe it's the first couple of days of cash flow that would cover this amount. So if you're interested, we're coming up on the hour. This is pretty much the last opportunity you'll have today to sign up. So the link is on the screen, www.n4t.club/blueprint. That's where you can secure your spot. And you probably have it in the chat popping around, or if you're interested, just reach out, find someone on the JK team, and they will help you to the order page. So once you're on there, that's it. You sign up, and you can join Richard, who attended the training, and he said, look, so this is a game-changing training at a very cheap price. And that was before we added a ton of those bonuses. Richard was part of one of our first blueprints we did a few years ago. Sandra and Johnny, brand new to the community, and say highly recommend. This is a training that's accessible to novices and experts alike. Sandra, Johnny, and their kids are now in Florida, actually in our Magical Muggles Mansion right now, all right? And they have completely launched their US real estate journey and have a whole plan of immigration. And this all started with the blueprint for them. Alain, solid blueprint. This is a solid blueprint to become investors in a market that basically you didn't even know the basics of investing yet. We illustrate the possible strategies and where to put the efforts to go into action. Leonardo, I love this guy. This seminar not only met, but exceeded my expectations, and hope the relationships that he made hopefully will last a lifetime, because that is where the real gold is in this business. Never forget, it is a people's business. Yes, it might be the brick and mortar that create, the assets on paper, but it's the people behind it that truly make the wealth. Adam, blown away by the amount of knowledge and intellectual assets JK have accumulated becoming part of their family. Your limits are only set by your own level of commitment. And finally, James. James says, if you're thinking about investing in the US, stop thinking. This is a must. And James now owns quite a number of assets in the US now, including a mobile home park in Michigan and a themed vacation rental in Florida near Disney. So congratulations to you, James. And so to wrap up, one last time from our friend Ben Franklin here, he says the best investment one can make is in yourself, because that's the investment that's going to pay the very best interest. Some words to live by, and he could not be more right. So that's it for today. Be sure to join us tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the Ask US Anything, the Ask Us Anything. Any questions you might have had, that's the time. We're going to give you the time you need, and you're going to bring the questions, we're going to bring the answers, and off we go. Because we want you to join the hundreds and hundreds of Canadians who have gone through the blueprint before you, right? The thousands of Canadians who are now part of the Now for Tomorrow community. We want you to join their ranks and create an even stronger community, because the more people, the more passion we have in this group, the stronger we become, and the more deals and the more relationships we can create, those lifelong relationships that are at the source of all this wealth, health, and abundance. So thank you everyone for your time. From this point, now we're done, and we will see you tomorrow at the Q&A, which is the very final part 4 of this Blueprint seminar series. Janie, any final words before we dance this off?
No, I'm so excited for tomorrow for the Q&A. You guys were a wonderful group, and we are excited for the upcoming blueprint. This one's going to be so fun, so fantastic. It always is, but every time it gets better and better and better. So guys, until next time, do now for tomorrow for the lifestyle you deserve. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Don't wait for tomorrow.